Hey everyone, I'm Master Trainer Peter, and I'm here to talk about just how effective Ring Fit Adventure is as a full workout program with some fantastic proof, some fantastic results from the Ring Fit Kickstart. I'm going to talk about the amazing successes that people have had with it, talk about my own experiences writing it, where I feel it did well and where I feel I could have improved it. I think the entire thing is showing us that Ring Fit is an incredibly capable, varied and well thought out fitness game, but more on that later. First, allow me to explain what the Ring Fit Kickstart is if you don't already know. It's a 31-day program designed by myself, a qualified personal trainer, to be operated completely within Ring Fit Adventure for the Nintendo Switch. My intention was to get people into fitness in a easy, manageable way. I made sure that I had differing difficulty levels and adaptable reps to allow newbies all the way up to those with experience to work out properly. There were testing protocols at the start that were replicated at the end as a proper measure of progress, and differing sets of workouts each day with a routine structure that's followed each week. Monday for legs, Tuesday for arms, blah blah blah, all based on the fit skills and options available within Ring Fit Adventure. Now, I actually developed the concept for this back in September 2020, and it was designed to be like one of those 30-day fitness challenges that you see every January, you know. As I've already mentioned, qualified PT, I'm very particular about how I get people to work, and I want to make sure that they are having appropriate rest periods. I know a lot of those January programs are like 30 days straight of just genuine, you know, like massively increasing volume with no time for recovery. And it's like you're just going to make people sick. You're gonna get them away from fitness because they're going to be like, oh, I've hurt myself, I've injured myself, I've done something else, and it's just not. It doesn't seem conducive to long-term development of fitness, whereas this is intended to show people structure. It's intended to get people into exercise from the very basics, give them some information, give them some knowledge, and actually get them knowing what their own structure feels like, how things feel for them, and then they can continue using that motivation knowing that they've started here and now they're ending here. So it's just a lot better for them. They know that they're making that progress, and therefore they can carry that on through the rest of the year and have a sustainable program, which is really good, Now, a core principle of the Kickstart program was progressive overload. That is the way that I was intending on making progress. So we're starting with one volume and we're building up the volume each week, having rest days obviously, but doing it in a steady way so that even beginners and those who are more advanced can build up that volume, build up that intensity, and make progression through that sense. I feel that was the most manageable way to do it anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that sums up the Kickstart. In general, you can always go and check it out if you want. I've done like an introduction video on it, so yeah, check that out if you'd like, if you want more information on it. But yeah, that's like kind of the basic overview of it. And now I'm sure you're itching to get into actually seeing what the results from people were and what the, you know, were people actually making progress. So cool, let's do it. So the testing protocols had to be made to fit within what was available in Ring Fit Adventure, so I decided to use some of the simple challenges available through Quick Play. Not only were these quick and easy to find, they were quick to do, they have scoreboards which you can use to accurately measure your results. I chose 4 different tests under the moniker of muscular tests. These were the Quadriceps Challenge, Spinal Erectors Challenge, Endless Latissimus Dorsi, and Endless Deltoids. Of the available sessions I felt would make a good marker for results, these 4 gave me a good spread of work. Quadriceps was the only decent marker for legs. Spinal erector challenges allow for some upper body and postural work, while the 2 endless challenges allow us to measure pure endurance. As there aren't a particular level of strength-based exercises in Ring Fit, as well as the game really focusing on aerobic and endurance work in general, I felt that these would be the best tests to use. Now, I also did 2 other optional tests. One was weight, so take your weight at the start, take your weight at the end. A lot of people use these programs for weight loss, so I figured that would be good for them if they wanted to do that. The other one was push-ups. I was curious to see if working the muscles that dominate push-ups, i.e. pectoralis major, deltoids, triceps, rectus abdominis, would allow people to do more push-ups without directly training with them. I could have used the plank and mountain climber moves as they use a similar starting position, however I vocally take issue with the implementation in the game due to the thigh strap and unintentional encouragement to create poor form for better in-game damage. That's covered elsewhere, okay? So how we did it was, participants were asked on day 1 to perform the tests. and then on day 31, after they've done the entire program, to reperform the tests under the closest matching conditions that we could. So then we had a as accurate as possible measure of the results before and after the program. They've sent those results to me, so I've collated them. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's have a little look at how people did. And there's quite a wide variety of results, which is very exciting. Yes. So starting at the quadriceps challenge, it's one of those AMRAP challenges, performing as many reps as possible of the knee lift in 20 seconds. A variety of initial results and end results, and just checking out the basic graphs, sorry about that, you can see some increases all over the board, which is fantastic. Now, just so you know, with the graph, the blue is the initial result and the orange is the final day result. So you can see the increase for every person there quite clearly, which I'm incredibly impressed by. As far as reps go, the initial average was 54.8 reps, and with all the leg training and cardio areas involved, that number has jumped up by 11.25 all the way to 66.1 reps as an average, which is a massive average increase. And to be honest, you know, just looking at that as my first one that I did, really indicating to me that this really has some quite good potential for endurance gains. There's a really excellent potential here. Next was the spinal erectors challenge, another 20-second AMRAP, this time focused with the ring con held behind the head and over the back, like the back press move. So this one showed mostly increases in endurance capacity again, which doesn't surprise me because we were doing a good amount of work for the upper back and the shoulders on each arm day. There are a couple of decreased or equal amounts, but mostly increases in general. You can see the average amount of reps was 65.5 at the start, which increased by 18.96 to 84.5. I'd say this indicates again that endurance capacity can be increased with Ring Fit by a good amount. Now obviously there's going to be some sort of strength gain here as well. There has to be in order to perform the exercise with good posture and, you know, it's a minor basis in endurance as well, but I can't quantify that well with these tests, okay? Now it's worth taking a little side note here to say that the first two exercises were based in dynamic movement, and owing to the obvious limitations of Ring Fit Adventure as far as strength goes and its real focus in, you know, that lightweight mobility, that lightweight resistance exercise, I had to find something different to test as well, which is why the next two were isometric, i.e. holding a position for as long as possible against resistance. Again, owing to what Ring Fit has, there weren't many tests that I could use, so I chose endless tests. The first of the isometric tests was the endless latissimus dorsi. This involved holding the ring out at chest level and holding until you can't hold it anymore. I was clear in saying to not cheat through here and to release as soon as it was too hard to hold. So results wise, not quite as clear cut in improvements as the ones that were dynamic, but there are a lot of close calls and one notable decrease. The general trend we are seeing though is an increase in endurance capacity, again in that static way. The overall initial average time held was 48 seconds, which jumped up average 12 seconds to 60 seconds. That's a whole last minute that people are able to hold on for, which is really cool to see with the arm work we were doing across arm days, core days and yoga days, which did involve a fair amount of static work. It's not surprising to see this. Lastly was the endless deltoids, which was like a continual overhead press, pulling out on the ring con instead, much like the hanging zip lines in adventure mode, and the results come very similar to the endless latissimus dorsi. A couple of decreases and the general trend is a smaller improvement. Clearly one participant was able to massively increase their capacity for this hold, as you can see with that huge spike. It's actually a ridiculous time to hold it for as well. Well played, whoever you are. This means our average initial time was 48 seconds, increasing by 12.9 seconds to 60.9 seconds. That's actually super interesting because the averages for both endless challenges were pretty much the same, very similar. How strange is that? You know, like, it's great to see the improvements here, but yeah, amazing. Similar skill, you know, it's a similar skill, but you're using different muscles actively. So yeah, really interesting there. Now this is really cementing to me that Ring Fit Adventure is really adept at improving your endurance in both a dynamic and isometric sense. That's going to be excellent for priming the body for heavier lifts, strengthening your tendons and your ligaments, getting your form right, and it's going to be really good for function as well, so definitely cool. Now, for those optional tests. The push-ups. I had a much smaller sample of participants here, so it's not going to show a huge amount, but we can see that there are generally more increases than decreases in numbers before and after. There's not a huge difference in either way, and the average went up by 1 3/4 reps. So this kind of leaves an indicator that Ring Fit isn't massively increasing your strength, as a strength increase is necessary to increase your push-up reps in addition to your endurance, but my sample isn't really large enough. It's still interesting, and a small win is better than no win, and since there is an overall increase, it's still showing to me that Ring Fit is very good for multifunctional fitness. It's just not quite great for strength. And finally, weight. Now, let's just get this out of the way first. We know that weight loss is mostly linked to diet, okay? Now, obviously, exercise is going to help. Doing intervals is going to be really good for you. Having a steady heart rate at a lower, like 65% intensity, that is going to be good for you to help burn fat, but it is mostly linked to diet. I've already done a big video on weight loss information and all the good stuff about that, and calorie deficits and how to calculate it, basal metabolic rates, blah 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 blah. If you want to check that out, feel free. I've already done that, and there's some really cool stuff about using Ring Fit, kind of optimizing your workouts to keep your heart rate as high as possible, so that's really fun too. So anyway, a lot of people were using this for weight loss, and so I was encouraging them to eat as healthy as possible, but obviously it's very difficult to track that sort of thing with a generalized program like this. So the big question, were people losing weight? Yes, they were. We were seeing some great weight loss wins here, as you can see with this little box and whisker graph here. It shows the range and where the majority of people sat. People were losing between half a kilo and just over 3.5 kilos mostly, with the actual average being 3.2. Now this is cool because 0.5 to 1 kilo per week is pretty healthy as far as a rate of weight loss goes, so that's great. Now, I had little to no control over diet, which is why some gained a small amount and one person lost over 8 kilos. It really shows me that Ring Fit can work for weight loss, but it's really definitely down to that diet. It's reassuring to see that people were getting weight loss if they wanted it too. I mean, one person wasn't actually looking for weight loss with this program and managed to maintain their weight nearly perfectly. Now, I think that shows that you can tailor Ring Fit's workouts to what you need as well. So now that we've seen those results, people are making gains. You can see it. Some of them are losing weight, some of them are increasing their endurance capacity. It's really cool. You can see how well Ring Fit can train you, especially when it comes to endurance and light resistance work. The average increases here are really awesome to see. We're always making some gains, and it is really interesting to see that the timed ones were the same and that the amount of reps very, very much changed, but it's really interesting. I'd say that, this clearly proves that Ring Fit can be used as an effective workout. It absolutely can. And not that many of you watching this would be doubting it, but maybe you were. No, here's proof. This is proof. Endurance training, sub-maximal force for extended periods of time, is obviously where this excels. Now, of course, with this sort of training, you make a lot of gains at the start. Some of you might be thinking this, there's that beginner gains thing. And that's totally fair. Your body's adapting very fast. So if you don't increase your volume gradually, because as I said, progressive overload was a huge thing here. If you're not continually increasing that volume, and the thing with Ring Fit is that you can't increase your weight, so you're going to have to increase your time and your reps, the amount of sets that you're doing, all of that good stuff. When you do that, you are still going to be able to see endurance gains happen. You're going to be able to do it for longer. You're going to be getting slightly stronger. You're going to be helping burn more fat, which is going to make you more toned, stuff like that. If you want to do that, as long as you've got the right diet. Point is, even after long periods of time, as long as you're increasing that volume, you're still going to see endurance gains. It just might not be as drastic as the ones that we've seen here. It's still going to be happening for you, okay? Now, that achievement is all theirs, and they have done some amazing work. The participants have worked so hard. I am incredibly proud of them. They've done so well. I've done my best to motivate them over the past month. I've done my best to motivate them after as well, and, make sure that they're checking in and doing some really cool stuff and, keeping up with that fitness. And a lot of the people are, which is really cool. Some people are repeating the program again, but they're doing higher reps or they're going up another level, which is, partially what I intended. So that's really cool to see. And I've got to say, look, I really enjoyed working on this. It was really cool. It was really nice. I wasn't expecting the reaction that I got, which was even better. And I did intend on having most of it done through December, or at least the first 2 weeks in December, but I got really sick. I was doing Fitness Boxing 2 content as well, and then my throat swole up and I couldn't really speak very well, so it knocked me out for the last 2.5 weeks of the year. And now, as much as that sucked, having to do a lot of it and, feeling like I had a big deadline, it also gave me the freedom to look into feedback. I've never done a generalized program like this before, writing out for a whole month for a wide variety of goals. This actually gave me the freedom to look at feedback, see where I was struggling, what people weren't liking, and if there were things that I was missing, and being able to change it, implement it. So I feel the quality at the start was nowhere near as good as the quality of the workouts at the end. So 2 great examples of feedback being implemented actually. So one of them, I got a request to tell where each exercise was coming from. as in, you know, was this exercise a yoga skill? Was it a leg skill? Blah, 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 because some of them are a little bit kind of ambiguous. So what I did was I implemented coloured writing. The coloured writing I made sure was very big, and it was coloured the right colour for whatever fit skill. So anything under yoga, it was coloured in green. If it was cardio, I was doing orange because that was kind of like a neutral colour. I feel that not only did this improve it because people were able to locate the exercises easier, but it was great for accessibility as well. Having that writing available allowed people to look, and then if they weren't able to quite see the images or something like that, they had it in text form so that they could implement it from there. Very, very cool. So I was very happy to be able to put that in to help. Another example was session length. I vastly misunderestimated how long it would take for some of these sessions, and I did quite a few of them. So I knew a kind of vague timer, but I wasn't able to do them all. And I know that people were fairly dissatisfied with the length of the time at the start. Now, that was fine at the start because I was able to go, right, just do half an hour of adventure mode as well. You know, work on that same body area that you've been doing for today's session, but just do it in adventure mode or repeat the playlist. And then in later ones, I had to get more creative. I had to work on it a lot harder, and that started getting me to be more creative with those playlists. So like, for example, I was doing circuits, I was doing intervals, I was doing supersets, I was doing stuff with rest periods, specific rest periods, to try and help people out as much as possible. Even though overall it increased my workload, having to look through the feedback and then implement it, I feel the quality increase was so high and so much better, and it made it a lot more satisfying for those who were performing the workout. But yeah, definitely worth it, definitely worth it. Now, it was all quite difficult to juggle, you know, the session length, the workout times, the difficulty levels, making sure that it was adaptable for everyone as well. I feel like I've learned a huge amount about program writing because I've had such a limited amount of tools to use. I can't just kind of like make up exercises on the fly and stuff like that. I've had to really look and, you know, work within the box and go outside of that box, but stay in the box. You know, I'm definitely interested in doing something like this for another game or for Ring Fit Adventure again a little bit later down the line. If I were to do it again from the start, I would make sure that I had the session length down a lot better in those first couple of weeks to make sure that people didn't drop off and think it was too easy. I felt I was good with motivation, I felt I really helped people out, and the fostering of community was something that I didn't really see coming. I set up the Discord and people were supporting each other, they were answering questions where I wasn't able to, they were really like pumping each other up, and they were doing it in the comments of the videos as well, and it was just really cool to see, and it was really heartwarming. I loved it, it was so good. I'm really proud of how people came together for this as well. It's so cool, it's so cool. So look, I've already taken up quite a bit of your time today, and I really appreciate you spending that time listening to me and talking about how Ring Fit Adventure is a really effective workout program. I think it's safe to say that the program was successful. We've got people moving, we've got people some great wins, and I've got people motivated into working out in the future with Ring Fit or without Ring Fit, which is bang on what I was after. It's definitely great to see those tangible results, especially on the endurance side of things, but as I mentioned earlier, that massive increase in average capacity needs to be nurtured with continual increased volume, or it will massively taper the gains, but I think it still stands as great as far as general fitness and endurance / lightweight resistance goes. It's a great tool for it. There are some things that weren't quite as successful, you know, the push-ups for example, but then a lot of those exercises being improved hinges on the repetition of that movement to get the body used to it, and actual strength increases from that. So I'm not too surprised, but it's good to see some improvement still. As far as the weight loss side of things go, as I said earlier, you know, I'm not surprised because it's so heavily focused in diet, but it's great to see that people were still being able to have those successes for themselves. The fostering community side of things was excellent, and I wouldn't change that for the world. And the main thing, the fact that people were working together and encouraging each other and getting themselves in and, you know, working hard. These people are intending on keeping going. The intention has been made in their mind. They have created that habit, and that is fantastic to see from a video game. I'm so happy to see these people thriving and getting that excellent workout with Ring Fit, and that is testament to them, and I think also testament to how good Ring Fit is as a workout tool. I really genuinely feel that this is the best fitness / video game in the world. I don't think there's anything that has come close, and I think this really shows just how good it is. You know, you'll hear people scoff at the idea of getting fit with a video game. Clearly this is like saying, yeah, no, right? This works. Ring Fit works for fitness, and you need to accept it. So some questions for you, you know, did you do the Ring Fit Kickstart yourself? How do you feel it was as far as a functional program goes, and have you used Ring Fit for fitness? Are you going to get it now? What do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments. It'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts and opinions on this as a fitness program. If you're interested more about Ring Fit Adventure, hit like on the video and subscribe for more content, more exercise gaming content coming soon. Thanks again for the third time for your time today, and a quick shout out to Anima-chan for the fantastic art for the thumbnail. Check out their art in the description below. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.